I had to turn the overhead light off because it was flickering. So now it looks very bright because of my light situation. This is what you'd get when you have your bookshelves in a basement. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Liz, and in today's video we are going to do a bookshelf tour. My most recent video, I was doing my moving vlog and I kind of went through and showed the process of me filling up this bookshelf, but I didn't really get into like the nitty-gritty details of anything, mainly because I was still in that whole like moving mindset. So I actually wasn't 100% sure if I had things the way that I wanted them, but I feel pretty settled now after having this up for over a week, and I wanted to share what my book collection looks like at the moment. So we're just going to go through shelf by shelf, explain how I organized things, why I organized them the way that I organized them, and you guys will get an up close look at my book collection. These are all books that I have read already. My physical TBR is actually upstairs in my room, so that is a whole separate bookshelf, but these are all books that I have completed, so I wanted them to all be together. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm so excited. I love this corner. It's my happy place. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. I feel like the easiest way to do this is to just go shelf by shelf, layer by layer, and I can explain what books I have where and why they are there. And then also you guys will get an up close look at each of the titles and authors that I have situated the way that I have them situated. Right now, the way I have things organized on my top shelf, those are all of my special editions and like pretty books. These are also books that I absolutely love and adore. Over on the right side, this is my Throne of Glass special edition that I got from Acrylics. I'm obsessed with this series. I love Throne of Glass. If you've been with me for a while, then you already know it is my all-time favorite series. I have a tattoo from Throne of Glass. It is the series that truly got me into reading and made me fall in love with reading. I have Queen of Shadows, which is my favorite book in that entire series, face out, just because that book holds a special place in my heart. And then right next to Throne of Glass, I also have Crescent City by the same company. I don't have ACOTAR special editions yet, mainly because since that series is ongoing, I didn't want to go ahead and buy special editions and then have to like later add books in, especially if they didn't continue those special editions. So I've been holding off on ACOTAR, but I do eventually want to get ACOTAR special editions so it all is together, like Sarah J. Maas, all of her books. In the middle of the top, I have Fourth Wing. So I have all my Fourth Wing books. These all have the sprayed edges from like the first print runs. I also have a paperback of it. And then for Fourth Wing, the first book, I got another Acrylics special edition. Love them. Also with my 3D printed dragons, which are the three dragons, the main dragons in that series. And then on the left side, these are all of my Illumicrate and Fairy Loot special editions. I have not read any of these, and that is my own fault. I really need to do a video where I slowly work through those because there are some really great books that they've done special editions for. There is one that I read, Poet Empress, so I went ahead and I took the Illumicrate special edition and placed it with that book on the shelf. But the rest of them up there, I kept them together because I haven't read them yet, but they're super pretty and I love the sprayed edges. I love those special editions, so I wanted them to be up top. Moving on, so for the next three shelves, these are all fantasy books. The top shelf, these are the books that I consider my God tier series. Like these are the books that I recommend very often. These are authors that I absolutely love. I kept these all on the same shelf because I feel like they deserve a place of honor. Directly underneath Illumicrate, we have Carissa Broadbent. I have a whole stack for her books. I am so excited to continue the Serpent and Wings of Night series. I do have the next book and I'm waiting for the next book in that duology or that duet to come out on paper, and then I'm going to read those together. Right next to Carissa Broadbent, we have Chloe Gong's. I have her Romeo and Juliet inspired series, so These Violent Delights, that duology. Then I have her Immortal Longings trilogy, which book 3 comes out this fall, so I'm so excited to finally read that and complete that trilogy. And we have her kind of like cyberpunk sci-fi fantasy series that she started, which is Coldwire. That is such an underhyped book. Everyone needs to go read Coldwire immediately. And then next to that, we have Sarah Parker. So I have her To Bleed a Crystal Bloom trilogy, books 1 and 2. I still need to read book 3. That's why it's not down here yet. It is upstairs on my TBR shelf. And then we have my special edition of When the Moon Hatched. I went ahead and I pulled my regular edition of When the Moon Hatched and I put it upstairs because I really want to reread it before I read Ballad of Falling Dragons. So that's why it's not down here at the moment. And then we have Rebecca Ross. Oh, I love Rebecca Ross. If you want a very lyrical author, you need to read her books. They're so good. Divine Rivals, one of my favorite duologies. Plus I have special editions from Acrylics. You guys are going to hear Acrylics picks a lot just because I love their special editions so much. Moving on into the middle, this is kind of like a mixture of books. Some of them are standalone, some of them are the first book in a series that I started and have not completed yet. So we have Shield of Sparrows and Rights of the Starling by Daphne Perry. Heavenbreaker, I'm waiting for book 2 to come out. When Hellrunner comes out, guys, I will not be contained. I'm so excited, except the pub date keeps getting pushed back on that book and I'm slowly going insane, but it's okay. Then we have A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena, book 2, I think, which I think it's just going to be a duology if I'm not mistaken, comes out very soon, so I'm excited to get my hands on that. Then we have Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I have book 2 upstairs, Broken Dove. I just haven't read it yet. Then we have House of the Beast, which is a standalone. There will be a companion novel coming out. I don't know if it's this year or next year. Then we have Alchemized. It ripped my heart out and tore it into a million pieces, so it needed to be up on the top shelf. And finally, we have Poet Empress, which is a standalone fantasy. Like I said, I have the Illumicrate special edition next to the regular edition. It is a debut novel, which is shocking because the book, the writing is so lyrical and beautiful. Truly top tier. One of my favorite fantasies that I've read so far this year. Moving on to the right side, these are all of my regular editions of Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City. I wanted to make sure I had those right underneath their special editions because I think it's really pretty having them kind of mirror so you can kind of see a story be told. So moving on underneath the SJM shelf, we have, this is kind of like my moodier gothic fantasy shelf. There's more books that I would love to add to the shelf. They just didn't fit. Starting in the stack, we have Hannah Witten. I love her books so much. I'm so excited to read her Foxglove King trilogy eventually. And she did release a horror novel this year, which is also amazing. Everyone should read that when it comes out. Then we have Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber. Very lyrical, very magical. If you kind of like fairy tale retellings, that kind of vibe, you would really like her books. We have the Caraval series plus the spin-off series Once Upon a Broken Heart. Then we have Adeline Grace. I feel like not enough people talk about her books. So Belladonna, this is a trilogy. These were so good. I really enjoyed them and I definitely want to read more by this author in the future. Then we have Ava Reed and Rachel Gillig. Ava Reed, we have The Wolf and the Woodsman, which is a standalone fantasy, and then we also have A Study in Drowning. I need to read A Theory in Dreaming very soon, but I'm just waiting for like a very rainy period of time because that's how I read book 1 and I'm so glad I read it when I read it because it just gave me all the vibes. Rachel Gillig, we have her One Dark Window, Two Twisted Crowns, that duology. Right next to it to the left, I have special editions. Then we have The Night and the Moth, which book 2 comes out very soon. I'm actually going to an author event for Rachel Gillig in like a month and a half, I think, for book 2, The Knave and the Moon. And if you look on top of that horizontal stack, you will see my gargoyle. This is Bartholomew. He is a side character in The Night and the Moth, and he is my all-time favorite side character. I had to go ahead and get myself a little statue for him for my shelf because of how much love I have for him. And then we have Amelia Hart. So we have Wayward and Sirens. If you want, like I said, a really great atmospheric gothic fantasy that is a standalone, you should pick up one of her books. Her books also have like a little bit of a historical fiction element to them as well, with some mystery mixed in. So they're very genre bending, but so good. Not enough people talk about her books. Then in the middle, we have Kate Golden. This is her Sacred Stones trilogy. They're so good, so bingeable. If you want just a really quick, fast-paced romantasy that kind of gives you all the tropes, you should read her books. And then underneath, we have Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. I kind of want to reread these because I read them so long ago. I love her writing. It's Mary Pearson. And then underneath that, we have Lauren Roberts. We have her Powerless series. These are so good. Definitely on the bingeable side. That's kind of why I put these books all on the same shelf because they're very bingeable to me. Right next to them, we have the Scarlet Princess series. So underhyped. Everyone needs to go read these because they're so bingeable, so easy to whip through. Like I said, just like Kate Golden, they're all on the same shelf for a reason because to me, they all have very similar writing styles. And we have Lightlark. I kind of just put Lightlark here because I didn't know where else to put it. I need to read the rest of that series. I have them upstairs on my physical TBR. And then to the left, we have Thea Guanzon. This is her Hurricane Wars trilogy. Book 3 comes out this fall. So excited. And then we have Catherine Doyle, her Dagger in the Flame. I believe this is going to be a trilogy. And then underneath that, we have Olivia Rose Darling. We have The Fear the Flames. I think this is going to end up being 5 or 6 books in the series. I loved book 1 and 2. If you want found family at its finest, then you need to read this series. Plus it has dragons. Like who doesn't want dragons in their fantasy? And underneath that we have Stacey McEwan. This is her Ledge trilogy. I never got book 3. Even though I loved book 1 and 2, never got my hands on book 3 Valley. It's not a priority at the moment, but I did really enjoy those books. Moving on, we have some darker vampire type fantasies. The Stars Are Dying. I do have books 2 and 3. I need to read those so I can add them down here. And we have Ballad of Nightmares. This is another one that I feel like not enough people talk about. It is a darker romantasy. So if you want dark romantasy, definitely pick that one up. Then we have Callie Hart's Quicksilver. I need to read book 2 still. Kate Dramis, we have The Curse of Saints, that trilogy. Love these books. It is very complex world building. There's a lot of things going on with our characters and like the magic system. So if you want something that's a little bit more complicated, definitely pick up this trilogy. Then we have Jade City, that trilogy. I still need to read book 3. I'm gonna get to it, don't you worry. But if you want a really great urban fantasy, then you should pick up this trilogy. And then this horizontal stack on the left. I think this is kind of like my dark academia stack. This Monster of Mine, I need to read book 2. I have it upstairs. Poppy War, eventually I will complete this trilogy, but for now, this is where it's gonna live. The Incandescent, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, we have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, Metabasis, and Blood Over Brighthaven. These are all dark academia. Moving down to the third shelf, this is kind of a mixture of things. I wouldn't say that there is that much of a system here, except I will say this shelf, this is all YA fantasy. Some nostalgic reads like The Hunger Games is on here. Some Adrienne Young, love her books. Susan Dennard, we have Marissa Meyer, we have some other more YA novels. If you want a really great standalone YA fantasy, then definitely pick up Emily Lloyd Jones. Her books are great. Then in the middle, the horizontal stack, these are on the spicier side of things. So we have The King of Battle and Blood and Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. Then we have the Trial of the Sun Queen series. Such a great series. Everyone should go read this if you like romantasy with all the tropes. Amanda Boucher, A Promise of Fire. This is like Greek mythology. So if you like Greek mythology mixed with fantasy, then you should read that series. And to the right on the same shelf, these are like Witch Falls for Witch Hunter. So we have the Serpent and Dove series and Heartless Hunter duology. Why am I like out of breath doing this? This is not a workout. Moving on over to the right, this is another mismatch of things. I don't really know what's going on this shelf, if I'm totally honest, but these were the rest of my fantasies and I didn't really have a good spot for them. I will say the right stack, these are all cozier fantasies for the most part. And then at the bottom, I have some like mermaid pirate romantasies. So I wanted to keep those together. So that is the top half of my bookshelf. We are halfway there. Let's keep going. Going directly beneath that shelf, we have some mystery thrillers. There are a few of my favorite authors on the shelf, like Taylor Adams. Falling by TJ Newman, so bingeable and fast-paced. I read this in one sitting. Stuart Turton, the most complicated and like mind-bending stories you will ever read, where like you need a pen and paper to like kind of follow along with what's going on. So well thought out. However, the endings always suck. Then we have Alice Feeney, we have Lucy Foley. Then in the middle, these are all YA mysteries. So we have Natalie D. Richards, we have Jennifer Lynn Barnes, we have Megan Lally, Vincent Ralph. These books I feel like all just are so fast-paced. These are some of my favorite YA mystery thrillers. Definitely recommend all of those authors. Then over to the left, we have some Frida McFadden and Lisa Jewell, some more of my favorite mystery thriller authors. And then we are getting into horror. So all the books that are standing up in the middle, these are all my horror novels. I am slowly getting into horror. Staircase in the Woods, that was like my first horror that I read that I actually loved. And I think I gave it 5 stars or close to 5 stars. And then over to the left, this is my sci-fi shelf. The Jackson Ford book, that is book 1 in a series. I need to read the rest of that series because I actually really enjoyed book 1. It's very fast-paced. It takes place within 24 hours. Moving down, this is my nonfiction classics, literary fiction novels. So over to the far left, these are all my nonfiction like memoir style stories. I don't really read a lot of nonfiction, but if I do, it's going to be a memoir and I'm going to listen to it as an audiobook. And then the stack that is laying horizontally, these are all my classic editions. Then moving on, we have some holiday books, holiday romances, and then we have some literary fiction. Frederick Bachman, amazing. Everyone should read his books. Also, Sarah DeMoff, one of my new favorite authors of this year. Moving on to the middle, we are getting into romance. This middle shelf, these are all favorite authors of mine. So we have Emily Henry, we have Abby Jimenez, Ashley Poston, and we have Ashley Winstead. These are all some favorites of mine. Moving on to the right shelf, we have Christina Lauren. I'm really excited for the new book that just came out. I actually didn't know that that was even a thing until I looked at social media and saw that that book came out. Then we have Taylor Jenkins Reid. The stack that is laying horizontally, these are like more dystopian, kind of like thriller-ish literary fiction. We have Nikki Ehrlich, we have Kirsten Miller, and then to the right of those, we have some more literary fiction. And then the whole bottom row, these are all romances. So directly beneath that last shelf, we have B.K. Borson and Elsie Silver all sitting together. Then we get into some hardcover romances. Into the Blue is a 5-star read for me this year. It is one of my favorite romances that I've read in a long time. Then we get into some Lynn Painter author, and we also have my Magnolia Park series. In the middle, this is Allie Hazelwood. This is her Shrine. She is one of my all-time favorite romance authors. Every single one I've read by her, absolutely love. And then the final bottom shelf, this is more romance. So we have Carly Fortune, Lauren Asher, we have Colleen Hoover from whenever I first started reading romance. We have Elena Armas, we have Mia Sheridan, we have Sarah Desai. Then we have in a horizontal stack, Hannah Bonham Young and Lucy Score. Those are all of their books. And then over to the right, we have this like floating shelf. These are more romances, which I do have some favorites on here, but for the most part, a lot of them are just kind of like I have one book by that author or only a couple books by a specific author. So it didn't make sense for me to put them on the actual bookshelf. We have Peyton Corrine, her Undone series. I'm so excited to read book 4. Then we have Hannah Grace, and then moving down, we have some hockey college romances. We have some Sarah Adams, some more singles by different authors that I've enjoyed. And then as we get further down, we get more and more into like spicier dark romances. So we have all of my Anna Huang books. Then we have Sophie Lark, we have Emily McIntyre, and then down at the bottom, we have some more dark romances. So we have Bryn Weaver, we have Jennifer Hartman, and St. Abbey. And then underneath my record player, I have even more books there just because I had too many for my main bookshelf, which of course, underneath my record player, these are all my cat related books. I wanted to have a cat shelf, which eventually when I have more space and more shelves, I will have an entire shelf dedicated to cat related books with a picture of Milo Murphy sitting on the shelf because that's my tribute to them. And then underneath those, we have some journals and stuff, but then we also have my graphic novels. I'm trying to slowly get more and more into graphic novels because I actually really loved them whenever I was in middle school. So I would love to get back into that because it feels very nostalgic to me. Those are my bookshelves. I definitely want to have more decor on the shelf. I just can't fit it at the moment. I love my bookshelves so much, and I'm excited to continue filming videos down here and to continue adding to them even though there isn't any space. I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but for now, this works. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was really fun. I love looking at my books and going through my books. We are entering into a new chapter of life that's gonna be really fun and exciting, and I'm excited to take you guys along with me. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.